Welcome to pillar number 2 of the Microsoft K-12 Education Transformation Framework, Teaching and Learning. This course focuses on modern teaching and learning aimed at school leaders looking to transform the teaching and learning practices within their school. Teaching and learning is all about helping all students achieve their potential by taking a student-centered approach to explore all aspects of teaching and learning. That is curriculum, assessment, devices, and spaces with a focus on understanding and meeting the needs of all students. Under teaching and learning, we are going to talk about 4 areas. That is student-centered learning. The second one is curriculum and assessment, devices for learning, and lastly, learning spaces. Imagine a classroom where students are excited to come in and engage with their peers and make learning their own. A classroom where the curriculum keeps up with each learner, not the other way around. A classroom where every student works with real-world tools that will solve tomorrow's problems. And a classroom where the educator's curriculum is guided by the direct needs of each student and their experiences in and out of the classroom. Ensure students are prepared for the future with the latest in teaching and learning. So what are the outcomes of transformation? The outcomes include engaged students learning without instruction, real-time learning with assessment part of the curriculum, students prepared for life beyond school years, and last but not the least, flexible spaces for collaborative and inspiring learning. By going through this course, you will learn how to engage students learning without instruction. You will learn how to create proactive intervention systems for students who are falling behind. You will also learn how to build workforce-ready skills with students. And last but not the least is how to reimagine flexible learning spaces led by the needs of each student and not the space in a classroom. Let's get to Module 1. The first area under the pillar number 2, teaching and learning, is vision for change. Create a pedagogy inclusive of teaching and learning practices that are project and competency based, collaborative, and require students to own their learning. Creating student-centered classrooms concentrated on student autonomy or agency and conversations between students and teachers about learning is the focus of learning in the 21st century. Student-centered learning environments are ones in which systems and structures are intentionally designed in ways that promote student learning. Education Evolving 7 Principles of Student-Centered Learning points to 7 attributes as key to student-centered learning. Instead of students being the receivers of knowledge created by adults, school systems should be redesigned to allow for a much greater focus on what and how students want to learn based on things that make each student unique, including their interests, needs, culture, learning styles, experiences, and challenges. Meeting these 7 principles may not happen immediately, but as part of the school or district's vision. Leadership should assess what they're doing to ensure student-centered learning. Here are a few ways to incorporate student-centered learning using Microsoft technology. One of Microsoft's tools created to amplify student voice is Flipgrid. Flipgrid enables students to share their thoughts and ideas in a safe space, and it creates a sense of community when being in a classroom is not possible. For example, Christine McKee uses Flipgrid to enhance reading comprehension, speech development, and overall learning in her classroom to reach each student and support his or her diversity of needs. Read her story in Flipgrid Learning Communities and the Power of Personal Transformation in Microsoft.com. In Canada, one school district has turned to Microsoft Learning tools to help students at all levels improve their reading and writing. Let's watch this video.
What excites me is really finding new and different ways to help students reach their potential. One of the goals of the Assistive Technology Project was to keep students with their peers.
I really love stories. It's just hard that I can't read or write one.
With dyslexia, you're having to spend your day decoding.
When I was in grade 4, I asked my table, how do you spell the word lion? And they laughed and laughed.
In order to reduce the achievement gap, we needed to leverage Microsoft technology. We had 24 students between the grades of 4 and 8 within the English and French immersion tracks.
Our group of students included learning disabilities, ADHD, dyslexia, low COG kids, students with autism, and students with motor difficulties. We needed to ensure that educators were set up for success, and so we hosted a half-day training session.
I really like writing on the computer because I don't have to ask everybody, what does this say?
I think one of the most exciting parts of the project is with learning tools, teachers were able to see measurable outcomes. Beyond that, it was free.
One innovative way that we've introduced OneNote to our classes is a digital escape room to use Dictate, Immersive Reader, or the Translate tool. For many students, the pen is the cage that stops them from learning what they're truly capable of doing. As we shift into a more differentiated learning model, we're building a more inclusive classroom. Office Lens has been very useful in allowing us to log student work specifically to those students. In that way, I can have my class reading the same material at 7 or 8 different reading levels.
Microsoft Learning Tools have created an equal playing field. Using Power BI, we saw definite increases in academic achievement.
I'm also dyslexic and I struggled in school, but my experience is very different. I'm always in awe of the confidence that Peyton exudes. I'm very proud of you. I always felt limited. Peyton feels limitless.
Even though I'm dyslexic, I would say if you're having troubles reading, writing, don't be ashamed of yourself. Be confident of where you are right now.
Sparking curiosity and imagination is key in supporting students' engagement in their learning. Primary school teachers in Northern Ireland sought interactive, interdisciplinary ways to bring STEM into history and technology classes. CCEA, Council for the Curriculum, Examinations and Assessment, worked with educators and an educational tech company, Immersive Minds, to develop a Vikings curriculum for Minecraft Education Edition. Using Minecraft for interdisciplinary STEM learning helps prepare students to solve problems creatively, collaboratively, and with technology. Let's watch this video.
So boys and girls, what we're going to do is now we're going to move in our teams into the Sea of Minecraft world, and we're going to look into designing and building our own longboats. You have 30 seconds to get to where I'm at in the world.
I'm Michael O'Keehan. I'm the principal here in St Peter's and St Paul's for Glen. We've got 46 absolutely fantastic children with a really good dedicated team who work to ensure that the children can be the best children that they can be. We've been really excited when Minecraft Education Edition came on the scene because it meant that in the classroom all the children could join the world and they could develop those essential learning skills like collaboration, creativity, critical thinking and problem solving.
SEA is the Council for Curriculum Examinations and Assessment here in Northern Ireland. When we learned that Minecraft Education Edition was available to schools, we thought there was an opportunity to bring some new and innovative pedagogy to the curriculum. Primary school teachers were telling us that they were struggling with making connections between history and science and technology.
The Minecraft Viking world is an authentic and immersive world where children become the Viking protagonists. They can build ships, they can build settlements, and they can even go on a Viking raid. Each of the quest challenges offer different learning experiences, from building settlements and ships, taking part in an archaeological reconstruction, to storyboarding their own Viking saga and crafting it in-game before capturing snapshots or video to create their own digital story.
The great thing about the resources are that They are very much children-led. The teachers can facilitate in the classroom and the children can become leaders. They can decide how they're going to apply the use of the resources in their particular context. Using Minecraft Education Edition, the children are communicating all the time. They're communicating digitally through the devices, but they're also discussing with each other where they should place particular items, where they should go and mine for particular materials. It really does develop their problem-solving skills as well.
Teachers and learners have told us about the development of 21st century skills, about the positive impact on both literacy and numeracy skills. When children enjoy what they're doing and are engaged, the barriers to learning are removed.
I developed my skills of communication. Instead of just being quiet and doing it by myself, I communicated with everybody around my table and my team.
I love my job, I love teaching, and I love being a principal as well, and I absolutely love it whenever the children are engaged and having fun, because they're learning and they don't even realise it. They're playing and they're learning and they're extending their knowledge, and it's all in that sandbox environment of Minecraft. They're probably going home and telling their parents that they're playing, but the skills that they learn and the knowledge that they develop is key.
As a reflection, think about your district or school. What is the focus of your students' experience currently? Are you seeing teachers cultivating student-centered learning? If not, what is the first step you can take as a school leader to build an educator's ability to spark learning? Note this in your Education Transformation Framework notebook. Let's move on to module number 2. The second area of pillar number 2, curriculum and pedagogy. New forms of curriculum, whether project-based, personalized, or competency-driven, require new tools to access, customize, and assess progress for each student. Students in blended learning conditions can exceed student success in traditional classroom environments. However, simply implementing technology into blended learning conditions will not necessarily affect positive results. Schools must continually ensure their pedagogical beliefs align with their technological efforts, especially in priority areas like STEM. Education content, curriculum, and assessment for learning must be student-centered, relevant, authentic, constructive, and interdisciplinary. It should include innovation, creativity, and 21st century skills through deep learning. Content must be digital and shared widely. There are two clear roles for the use of technology in content, curriculum, and assessment. First, content, curriculum, and assessment should provide authentic, real-world learning that is sufficiently challenging, promotes ownership and collaboration, and provides for creativity and artifact production that is theoretically sound. Research consistently finds evidence that technology can support teachers in effective integration of high-quality curriculum and assessment in classrooms. The second role for technology relates to the actual content being delivered. Digital technologies help reshape our expectations of the curriculum that is being offered. Students often learn by trial and error. Rather than making the test the outcome, schools can create an environment where assessment is part of the curriculum. According to the European Commission survey of ICT in schools, the most effective use of technology in education combines a strong infrastructure, a motivated teacher, and a supported environment. Next, consider ways to leverage Microsoft Teams as a hub for learning in your district or school. School leaders can use staff teams with staff to facilitate professional development. Teachers can use class teams in classrooms with students to facilitate learning through project-based learning, personalized or competency-driven activities, provide individualized support and feedback, and customize and assess progress for each student. Assessment is an essential component of teaching and learning. and providing individualized feedback can significantly help students engage and stay motivated. Using Microsoft tools, educators can adapt their existing assessment strategies to work for remote learning and personalized feedback to keep students engaged. Let's watch this video to know more about Microsoft Education Remote Assessment.
Assessment is an essential component of teaching and learning. It is crucial to gauge student understanding and measure growth. In a traditional classroom, educators can scan the facial expressions to gauge understanding and ask questions to measure growth. A remote learning environment brings with it challenges and opportunities for assessing student learning. Regardless of the type of remote instruction, whether synchronous or asynchronous, educators use powerful digital tools to gain insights into student progress. Educators can become creative with remote assessment practices to ensure students continue to progress and stay connected and engaged. Administering traditional exams remotely, however, can create concerns regarding student privacy, security, accessibility, and expense. Other assessment strategies may offer more flexibility for both students and educators. Assessment techniques like formative assessment and project-based assignments with rubrics offer a myriad of opportunities to evaluate students in creative ways. Using Microsoft Teams, forms, rubrics, OneNote, Flipgrid, and more, educators can create meaningful assessments that provide students with personalized feedback more efficiently than traditional pencil and paper assignments. With formative assessment tools like forms, students can receive immediate feedback as soon as they submit their answers and practice multiple times until they master a concept. With Teams assignments and OneNote, educators can review written work or video reflections quickly and provide individualized feedback. Instructors who institute a project-based assignment can provide students with the rubric for the project at the beginning of the assignment, so students know exactly what success looks like. Rubrics in Teams assignments allows educators to give specific feedback comments on different categories of student writing, video production, or any other project-based assessment. Traditional exams can be challenging in remote learning. Educators can use alternative assessment methods with Microsoft's full array of digital tools to gauge understanding and measure student progress. Teachers can reduce their need by focusing on formative or project-based assessments. However, when traditional summative exams are necessary to assess learning, instructors can use Dougga to lock the test screen of a student's device while they take the exam. Search for remote assessments in Microsoft's educator community to learn more ways you can modify your assessment strategies.
So you have just watched the video on how to see student activity in Microsoft Teams with insights. With your leadership team, develop a checklist of tools educators can use to assess student learning in place of or in addition to summative and high-stakes tests. Create a guide showing how class insights can show a more complete picture of student success. For your reflection, describe several instances in which you proactively sought feedback and then acted upon the feedback to improve. How do we instill that in our educators and students? Write your response in your ETF notebook. Let's move on to module number 3, the third area under pillar number 2 of ETF. This is devices for learning. Offer students multimodal learning through voice, touch, and digital ink, and increase their ability to retain information, generate new ideas, and use real-world software. Devices for learning is about selecting devices that provide superior value and support for learning. Powerful devices can run real-world software, preparing students for life beyond school, and enable rich 3D learning experiences not available in simple web content and apps. Mobility is the new norm, affecting everything from the devices students, teachers, and staff use to the applications and data they access. Selecting the right devices for learning enables a school to deliver lessons that are increasingly engaging and personalized. The right devices can also enable real-time feedback and adaptive assessment, and is crucial to the development of critical thinking and collaborative learning. A device can either greatly enhance or seriously undermine student learning. It makes sense that different subjects and students require different interfaces, including touch, type, pen, and voice. 2-in-1 tablet or PC devices with an active pen like Surface give educators the freedom to teach the way they want and empower students to achieve more while stimulating learning through exploration. Let's get to know the value of having a digital pen as part of the device package. Results of the research conducted by the Norwegian University of Science and Technology says, the results found that when writing or drawing by hand, different parts of the brain were active and in different ways. We found direct electrophysiological evidence that drawing by hand activates larger networks in the brain than typing on a keyboard. When drawing target words using the laptop, tablet, stylus, relevant brain areas showed desynchronized activity in the theta or alpha range. Existing literature suggests that such oscillatory activity provides optimal conditions in the brain for learning. Explaining the importance of the results, Van der Meer says that this difference in activity is really significant. It tells us that using a pen to take notes means that the brain is able to process learning in a much more effective way. Read this research on the link below, which will also be available in the description link of the video. The research is about the effects digital input has on the brain. In the ongoing pursuit of finding the best device for learning, this will help you and your school make the decision. Researchers spent years trying to understand the impact of pen versus keyboard input and its connection to a student's ability to learn. Windows Ink brings lessons to life by giving students and teachers powerful tools to handwrite notes, annotate, document, and sketch out their next big idea. The next thing is about getting the funding and choosing the right device is the first hurdle. The second hurdle is how to keep all of the devices updated and running at their optimal level. What type of device would best serve your students? 2-in-1 touch and pen, laptop, or basic tablet? How will your work with your leadership team ensuring students engage in multimodal learning through voice, touch, and digital ink increase their ability to retain information, generate new ideas, and use real-world software to graduate with skills employers in your community and around the world are looking for? To do that, use the checklist to assist the leadership team in making device recommendations for students. The first checklist is choosing devices for deep learning. This is a guide for school systems implementing anytime, anywhere learning. When selecting educational devices, consider how they will support learning. A low-cost device quickly becomes a high-cost limitation if it restricts students to the bare minimum. Students need to be able to brainstorm, develop ideas, think independently, and skill up on the technology that will take them through school and beyond. Windows devices are designed for deep learning and offer parents and schools a choice in price and capabilities. This is the checklist. Which category is right for your student? Either you have 2-in-1 touch and pen device for grades 3 to 12, laptop for grades 3 to 12, or basic tablet for grades K to 2, or as an ancillary consumption device for older students. Check out this checklist in Microsoft.com. The second checklist is about choosing student devices. What are the learning requirements and what are the recommendations from Microsoft? These are the questions you need to answer. When selecting student devices, ask, does it run touch-friendly app and is the screen big enough for reading? Does it enable students to think? Does it allow all students to type up professional assignments? Will it run full software and prepare students for the knowledge economies of tomorrow? Does it connect to a school network? Next question, is it light enough for a backpack? Can you connect peripherals for classwork? Is it school tough? Will the battery last a school day? Is the device well managed, updated, and secure? These are the questions you need to ask when choosing student devices. As a reflection, ask yourself, how can learning outcomes be improved with carefully selected devices for learning? How will devices for learning transform the role of an educator? Lastly, how might devices for learning impact literacy and numeracy? Note this in your ETF workbook. The fourth and final module, which is the fourth area under pillar number 2, teaching and learning, is learning spaces. Align spatial design with learning goals, so lesson plans drive the classroom setup instead of the other way around, and physical learning spaces are more flexible, collaborative, equitable, healthy, and inspiring. Schools can improve the positive impact of digital technology with physical learning spaces that are more flexible, collaborative, equitable, healthy, and inspiring. Teachers can let their lesson plans drive the classroom setup instead of the other way around. Give classroom design the same weight as pedagogy and curriculum design. To plan an effective physical learning environment, technical and digital specifications must be developed alongside qualitative considerations. This is what OECD calls quality design, which begins with defining a quality physical learning environment in terms of student requirements, age groups, societal needs, and usability or safety regulations, then continually measuring and analyzing the results. The OECD defines a high-quality learning environment as a physical space that supports multiple and diverse teaching and learning programs and pedagogies, including current technologies, one that demonstrates optimal, cost-effective building performance and operation over time, one that respects and is in harmony with the environment, and one that encourages social participation, providing a healthy, comfortable, safe, secure, and stimulating setting for its occupants. The overall aim of quality design is to bridge the gap between architecture and education, addressing the fundamental question: how do the facilities contribute to educational goals, policy, effectiveness, and quality? Due to current world conditions, schools need to rely more and more on remote learning when schools cannot be open. Schools can build collaborative classrooms and create personalized assignments and assessments for every learner using Microsoft Teams. There are several Microsoft tools that can help create learning spaces, even outside the classroom. So how can technology be used to support evolving learning environments? You can have student programs which support collaboration, competition, and innovation. Skype in the classroom enables students to connect with experts, experiences, and peers worldwide. Office and mobile devices supports mobile learning. Makerspace is equipped with physical computing solutions. And interactive learning environments equipped with Surface Hubs enable collaborative classwork. Then Windows 10 devices are highly effective with support for Windows Ink and 3D and enable students to learn the way they want and to work alone or in groups. Whiteboards enable teachers to create big screen and interactive lessons with real-time sharing and collaboration via Class Notebook and Microsoft Teams. Multimodal learning spaces using voice, touch, and digital ink help students retain information and generate ideas. And lastly, Microsoft Advanced Analytics and Business Intelligence data help analyze student data for development of new learning tools and applications. Flexible layouts, which enable easy moving of furniture and devices, are the best option to support teachers in applying a diverse range of pedagogies. Collaborative work can be supported by small groups of furniture with movable screens to easily create larger or smaller spaces as needed. It is important to use the Ud4 Learning Guidelines or Universal Design for Learning Guidelines when creating learning environments for students who have sensory processing disorders, autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or anxiety. We will show you the Universal Design for Learning Guidelines in a while. Clear expectations and where things go is important even in middle and high school. Systems must be in place in a visually encouraged space that minimizes distraction and maximizes opportunities to move and explore. Care must be taken to appropriately select furniture for students to support good posture. Protecting student eyesight requires appropriate light levels and policies to ensure students get enough time away from screens. It is also essential to create a space for students to reset, like a quiet corner to regulate and then re-engage in learning. This is the Universal Design for Learning Guidelines that you need to follow. You follow this when creating learning environments for students who have sensory processing disorders, autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or anxiety. You have access, build, internalize, and go. This learning guidelines is available in Microsoft, and the link will be posted in the description of the video. The OECD School User Survey, Improving Learning Spaces Together, can help school systems better understand how students and educators use available learning spaces. The data gathered can help a school leader identify how the school can use its learning spaces more effectively. Take the surveys yourself to familiarize yourself with all three: school leader survey, staff survey, and student survey. Then share the surveys with your school or district leadership team. Discuss and create a plan for teachers and students to take the surveys. Determine a plan for action utilizing post-survey data, which includes a cycle for continuous improvement. This should include a cycle for the survey to be given at regular intervals, providing data to support ongoing decisions. The survey link is available in the description. As reflection questions, review survey data and reflect on how you will share survey results with your stakeholders. Secondly, reflect on how the unique needs and values of your students, staff, and community can be accommodated with intentional focus on accessible learning spaces. Are there areas that you see as an opportunity to shift the physical space to make learning more accessible for all students? Note this in your ETF workbook. This is the end of Teaching and Learning, pillar number 2 of the Microsoft K-12 Education Transformation Framework. If you have any questions, email us at info@cts.ae.